All right, today you have a 2003 Mitsubishi Eclipse 3.0. Transmission is an F4A51, and we had to tow this in. This car, actually the guy was on the road, and all of a sudden the guy lost all drive and all reverse, and the car totally stopped moving. So we're going to talk about a couple of common problems, which this is one of them, with this transmission. Also the F5A51 and the A5HF1. It's all in the same family of transmissions. Okay, so on the F4A51, the F5A51, there's a very thin coil cushion spring for the low reverse clutch, and that always breaks. It's been updated since. And what actually happens is a piece of this goes into the filter. It must go around the side of the filter because it doesn't even go into the mesh of the filter, and it goes up the side of the filter into the pump and breaks the pump gears. I have that to show you. And again, that coil cushion spring has been updated since. I'm going to show you the update on that. All right, another common problem that I see with these transmissions, even with the F4A41 or 42, are the input and output speed sensors go bad a lot. So I'm going to show you the location of those. Of course, when you're checking these, you should also check the wires. 90% of the time, it is the sensor. I did find sometimes bad wires when I was unplugging the sensor and just kind of looking at it to see if I could see anything, why the code would set. But I usually use the scan tool and I drive it, and most of the time you'll see the sensor working, and then it's more of an intermittent problem. That's usually the sensor itself, which honestly most of the time it is. And sometimes when you have no reading, that's when I usually look for a bad wire or something like that. And I did find them occasionally, but for the most part, either the input, the output speed sensors. And also getting back to the pump, I want to show you the tool. You need a special tool to line the pump up with, the body and gears to the stator, because there is no chamfer. You can't just put it together. Okay, and also I wanted to show you, I have the underdrive drum here. Out of this, there really is no quote-unquote forward drum. And when we get into the F5A51 and the A5HF1, this underdrive drum tends to go bad a lot. It also has the exciter ring on it that reads the input speed sensor. All right, so let me get a little closer. I'm going to show you this busted up spring. I'll show you the updated spring, which definitely has to be done. I don't even think you can get the other one anymore, so anytime you order that, you will get the updated one. It's much, much thicker, and of course it's made much better. All right, so let me get a little closer, and I'm going to show you this stuff. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so here is that kind of like coil spring that breaks up, that sits on the low reverse. I mean, this is common. As soon as this thing didn't move and the transmission came out of the car, we pulled the converter out, and I kind of looked in there with my flashlight, and I can see the pump gears were broken. So I knew what I was dealing with here. The rest of the transmission really is not in that bad a shape, but the fact that it has 160,000 miles on it, of course, we're doing a converter. I put a banner kit, all new clutches, and proceeding with the overhaul, and I have another body and gears as well. So this is the old one. This is the pump. And that's what happens. Okay, this is the new kind of like wave cushion. It's very thick, and of course this problem does not happen again. All right, now this is aluminum pump. They do make a cast iron pump on the aftermarket. I've never used one of these before, to be honest with you. And I think that I'm going to get the OE one, mainly because you need a tool to line this up. All right, Sonics makes this tool to line the pump up with. And of course you can see, I mean, the bushing, granted, is a little worn, but still it fits in here. So I can line up the pump on this aftermarket pump. I cannot get this in here. I was actually trying last night for a while to get this in here, and I cannot get it in. I thought maybe I had some burrs around here. I sanded this down a little. And here are the new pump gears, and of course these dots on these gears are going to face up, so I think I'm going to elect to return this and get the OE one, which is the aluminum one again. I would feel a little more comfortable using that. I can sand this out, but this actually fits good on the hub. You know, it's a little tight, but it does fit good on the hub, and if I sand this out to get the tool to fit, and if it's too worn down, I'm afraid the thing might come back with a converter code. But I've never had an issue with an OE one fitting this tool in here. It usually goes right in. I put the pump together, and I've never had a problem. Here is the stator, and this sits over and keeps everything center like that, so it keeps the pump gears center. You know, this is definitely a tool that you need when you put this pump together. Okay, so that was that. That was the body and gears. Here's the stator. All right, I just want to show you this underdrive drum here real quick. Again, here is the exciter ring that the input speed sensor reads. And these drums tend to go bad. You know, you will lose forward gear or slip forward. I've seen this a few times on the last couple of A5HF1s that I've done. So that actually is fairly common on that family of transmissions, particularly. Okay, here are the sensors. This is the input speed sensor, and this is the output speed sensor. We do a lot of these. And like I said, most of the time, it's just the sensor itself. I'll just show you the location here real quick. Okay, right here is the input speed sensor, and right here is the output speed sensor. Those are the location of those. Again, just double check your wires and make sure all that's good. And if all that looks good, you can go ahead and put a sensor in it, and that most of the time cures it. What I do, as I said before, is I drive it with the scan tool on it, and more than likely it's going to be working, and it's probably just an intermittent problem that flags the code. So again, if you change the sensor, I think you'll be okay. So, all right, and the second and the last thing is that I wanted to mention is the second clutch low reverse / second clutch stack up. Let me just, I got this thing all ready to go. All right, it's very common to misassemble it. I don't want to really go through it, but I think I might have a video on it. But steels have to go a certain way. There's snap rings, so you just got to watch that. It's very common to disassemble this stack up, and then your clearances are going to be off because certain steels have to go certain ways so they sit correctly in the case, you know, with the snap rings. All right, so I think that is about it for common issues on this F4A51, and this carries over to the F5A51 and the A5HF1. But this particular transmission is an F4A51. So I think that is about it for this one. I'm actually working on an E4OD on this bench here. And I have the Mitsubishi unit over there, and I got a couple of 8 HP 90s on the bench, and it's very, very busy here. All right, so let me get to work. I thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and we will see you next one.